Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. We begin in the north, where a missing teen in the Northwest Territories has been found deceased after a week-long search. 16-year-old River Clement from Toledo was last seen in Toledo Friday, August 15th at 5 a.m. He was reported missing later that day. After a week of searching by loved ones and RCMP, River's family stated on social media that his body was recovered on the evening of August 21st. Family members said he was found along the Mackenzie River near Prohibition Creek between Toledo and Norman Wells. A cause of death has not been confirmed. APTN News will continue to monitor this story as more details surface. The Confederacy of Treaty 6 First Nations in Alberta have asked the Edmonton Police Service to designate the case of Samuel Bird as a search and recovery. Bird is 14. He's been missing since June 1st. Grand Chief Greg Desjarlais met with Bird's family and Interim Police Chief Warren Drechel August 19th. If granted, a search and recovery classification would allow more resources to be used in finding Samuel. Edmonton Police would not confirm to APTN that the case is now designated a search and recovery, only that Bird's disappearance is suspicious. Alana Bird is Samuel's mother.
We want to comb the river. There's just certain areas that we really want to check. Like we have family going out there that are like on the river almost every day. And it's, yeah, like we really just want to find him before winter gets here, because when winter's here, it's like, I don't know. It's going to be hard.
New details tonight in the disappearance of a Norwegian hiker who's believed to have been swept away by a fast-moving river in the far north. Searchers have recovered Stefan Schutelvik's backpack and a rifle he was carrying on the shore of the Hayes River east of York Factory. That's according to RCMP and a representative for his family. Mounties also say his GPS device gave out its last coordinates Thursday afternoon on the east shore, about 4.5 kilometers from York Factory. The family spokesperson says Schutelvik had been preparing for a trek across northern Canada for more than a year. The Métis Nation Saskatchewan is calling for immediate action to address a drug and alcohol-fueled crisis of gang violence in its communities. To that end, they have declared a state of emergency, as leaders warn that more lives will be lost and families affected if something isn't done.
The resolution by the Provincial Métis Council is designed to empower the MNS government to engage with the provincial and federal governments to support community-led initiatives to address this issue and establish culturally grounded solutions to addiction and violence in Métis communities. Two Métis Nation Saskatchewan councillors had this to say.
When you see homes that are being boarded up because of crystal meth use, and you can no longer, you have to wait a year, go through a process before cleaning those homes. And so in small northern villages, it's visible, it's alive and well. When you're going to the local grocery store and being threatened by a bat, with a bat from a drug dealer's mother, or when you're going to the local restaurant and you're getting jumped for your sneakers from somebody struggling with addiction, right? So it is rampant.
I want to see immediate action, and like we were talking yesterday, we do have mobile outreach in Regina, Prince Albert, Saskatoon. We have a mental health line. We have, emergency homelessness dollars that citizens can access. I want to see these going out to more of our communities and then showing the need. And, it's unfortunate that we have to let it get to this kind of a crisis, and where our folks are dying and families are being, displaced.
Discussions are said to be already underway with affected communities to establish a land-based treatment facility. Leadership says with immediate commitments from the provincial and federal governments, construction can begin. Mike McDonald, APTN National News.
Some good news now concerning the wildfires throughout Manitoba. Sav Jonesa has the latest.
Thanks to suppression efforts and weather, several key wildfires in Manitoba are no longer out of control. The province-wide state of emergency expired Friday and will not be extended. 5 wildfires in the north and east have moved from out-of-control status to being held. Areas affected include Leaf Rapids, Marcel Colombe First Nation, Pimachikamak Cree Nation, and Nopaming Provincial Park. Being held means the fires are mostly contained and are projected to stay within current boundaries, but could still grow depending on variables like weather conditions. Another fire near Lynn Lake is officially under control, meaning it is completely contained but still requires some firefighting efforts to be fully extinguished. Mandatory evacuations continue in many communities throughout Manitoba. As of Thursday, there are currently 149 active wildfires for a total of 417 to date, well above the average for this time of year of 338. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
This week on the Truth in Politics panel, we're talking about Indigenous leadership. That's coming up after the break. Stick around. Welcome back. Well, as we reported earlier this week, some First Nation leaders in southern Manitoba are calling for a summit on the leadership of their Grand Chief. This is the second time a non-confidence vote has been requested during Jerry Daniels' leadership at the Southern Chiefs organization. Other Indigenous political organizations and governments have also been in the news this week, dealing with questions around leadership. That's our topic for this week's Truth in Politics panel. Jennifer Leywitz is the CEO of Pusquash Strategies, and Egon Sinclair is a columnist with the Winnipeg Free Press. Jennifer, we now know the cost to search a Winnipeg area landfill for the remains of Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew announcing the search cost $18 million. Original estimates were anywhere from $84 million to $184 million, and that it could take 3 years. This took just a couple of months. Your thoughts on it all?
Well, it's obviously a lot less than, we were hearing the numbers before it even took place as a justification not to do it. I'll say what I said, the last time we had talked about this, is that I can't morally put a price on human life and also what it takes to grieve and bring somebody's remains back home or even to find them. So for me, I can't in good conscience say that's a lot of money, or you know what I mean? Like I'm hoping that it sets the precedent that we are showcasing not only Canada, but the world, that we care about our people and we care about our women, and that there is no price tag attached to doing the right thing and bringing justice to these families. So I 100% stand behind the cost that it took to find these women and also to search the landfill. And going forward, it's the same thing. All the resources that are needed to get to the bottom of disappearances, especially when we're hearing about the reports that we just talked about on the last panel on how many of our women are going missing and are vulnerable. So I think we need to be prioritizing that, putting in the resources, and not diminishing the budgets that are necessary to bring action to these things.
Of course, there were a lot of politics around this as came up during a provincial election. Egon, in a statement to APTN News, Premier Kinew took a shot at the PC party and said the PCs and their new leader should tell Manitobans why they put up billboard ads exaggerating the cost of the search by 10 times. Fair game to keep the politics in this?
Well, it would be hard not to, because it was the PC party that did make it into a political issue. This should never been a political issue, and also shouldn't have been an issue of feasibility. So the City of Winnipeg Police, former police chief Danny Smythe, has much to blame for that, using the word feasible when it discussed any notion for the reasons that Jen spoke about just a minute ago. It was the PC party who made this political in the first place, and perhaps we expect sometimes the Premier to make a higher level choice. He also is running for office, or one of his members, sorry. There is a by-election taking place within the province of Manitoba right now, so seeking political points certainly is in the context of the time period. Two things. First is this did not take the amount of money, it was not as dangerous, and this did not take all the provincial resources that the previous government had threatened that it did. So we should all remember that, for not just that party, but also for all governments in the future when it comes to searching for Indigenous peoples, because 100% if this is a mainstream Canadian, there would be no debate, there would be no discussion of feasibility, and there would be no pausing on searching for a person. If that is if that's an Indigenous person, we wait. If it's a non-Indigenous person, we double down and race over to the landfill and start to search it, and we don't question the price. And the second is, I hope what we've done is we've learned that when a harm happens to one, it happens to all. This has gripped Manitoba's attention, and in many ways, national attention for going on years. And think about the time and resources that just this panel has spent on it, just the ink at my newspaper, the massive amount of public interest, and now billboards that have been produced that have harmed, damaged, and relationships between everyday Manitobans. And that should be something we learn about all of this.
Jennifer Negon, we'll leave it there. Thanks to you both.
Thanks.
Well, that was not the part of the panel we were talking about, but you can watch the entire panel by visiting our APTN News YouTube page. Of course, we're always looking for your feedback or story ideas as well. Here's how you can continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, you can send us an email to news@aptn.ca. You can read and watch our stories by going to our website, aptnnews.ca. You can find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. A residential school totem pole in Winnipeg's Assiniboine Park was suddenly damaged after it was struck by lightning during a severe thunderstorm on Wednesday night. The Southern Chiefs organization raised the pole almost 3 years ago on September 30th, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. The totem pole was a gift to the SCO, and the plan was to move it to the former Hudson's Bay building in downtown Winnipeg once their multi-million-dollar housing and community center project is done. The pole stands 21 meters tall. It was made from a massive West Coast tree and designed by Charles Joseph, himself a survivor of the residential school in Alert Bay, BC. Assiniboine Park has now fenced off the totem pole as a precaution. And in a statement to APTN News, SCO Grand Chief Jerry Daniels says they are saddened by the news, adding, "The powerful and towering tribute to the children who were stolen from their families and sent to residential schools appears to have been struck by lightning." The SCO is working closely with the Assiniboine Park to coordinate an assessment of the damage and structural integrity of the totem pole. The SCO is also reaching out to the artist on what to do next. In honor of 150 years signing on to Treaty 4, Muscowpetung Saulteaux Nation in southern Saskatchewan was working to get as many of their members onto their nation all at one time. And it includes youth currently in the child care system. CTV's Mick Favel brings us more on the week-long celebration.
Members of Muscowpetung Saulteaux Nation receiving a special homecoming. A group of youth who were taken into the child welfare system, disconnected from their home nation, back home, brought together to meet family and community.
This is where you come from. Whether you were raised on reserve, raised in the nation, you can always learn your history. You can always learn your culture. You can always learn who your people are. And we wanted to do that as leadership, to let our people know this is where you come from.
Muscowpetung has been working to make this moment possible, coordinating trips from as far as BC for members to make it to the nation's first annual powwow. Barbara Feiss has raised her son since he was 6 weeks old. She says over the years they tried to get him connected to his home community, eventually starting correspondence. The meeting has been an emotional and overwhelming experience.
He's a fantastic kid, and I love it because he's now starting to meet family and making friends and meeting cousins. And you can't put money on that.
The special ceremony welcoming members back coincides with the nation's week-long event called Chikuk Days, honoring 150 years the nation signed on to Treaty 4 territory. The main event, a 3-day powwow inside of a brand new event arbor made of wood and steel, a place to gather and celebrate for years to come.
This year is only the start, it's only the beginning, and we're hoping to make sure that everybody that belongs to Muscowpetung, whether they live in BC, Japan, wherever they are, that they know this is where their home is, this is where they belong.
Chikuk Days are to conclude this weekend. Mick Favel, CTV News, Muscowpetung, Saulteaux Nation.
A filmmaker from all the way in Sandy Bay is racking up awards for her latest short film. Details on that and more after the break. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. A severe thunderstorm hit, as we told you earlier, in Winnipeg 2 nights ago. And Avery Harder was startled from his bed, and despite shivering with fear, he thought of APTN and snapped this extraordinary moment. Thanks, Avery. For the chance to be featured next week as our photo of the day, send us your snapshots to share@aptn.ca. Now let's take a look at Saturday's weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, 21 in Fredericton, 22 in Halifax. Cloudy and 9 in Kuujjuaq. The sun will be out, and 12 for Nain. 22 in Montreal, a sunny high of 17 in Val-d'Or. 23 under sunny skies in Sault Ste. Marie, sun's out, and 22 in Ottawa. Cloudy and 16 in Thunder Bay, 20 in Sioux Lookout. Cloudy and 17 for Norway House and God's Lake. 25 and cloudy in Winnipeg, 20 in Dauphin. 31 with showers in Regina, a sunny high of 31 in Saskatoon, 18 in Meadow Lake, 13 in La Ronge. In northern Alberta, 17 with showers in High Level, 14 for Fort Chipewyan. 27 and sunny in Edmonton, 30 with the sun out in Medicine Hat. 19 in Vancouver, 22 and sunny in Kamloops. 19 under sunny skies in Prince George, 9 with showers in Dease Lake. 9 in Old Crow, rain, and 14 in Whitehorse. 16 with showers in Yellowknife, 17 in Norman Wells. Cloudy and 6 in Sax Harbor, 13 in Inuvik. 13 in Chesterfield, 10 in Whale Cove. 5 in Resolute, 6 in Igloolik. A filmmaker from Sandy Bay First Nation in Manitoba has recently received multiple awards for her latest project, Ojichog. Rachel Bolio's short film has been screened across Canada at multiple festivals this year. Our intern, Maya Katu, spoke with Rachel about her process.
I just wanted people to see it. That's what I was hoping for.
Rachel Bolio is a filmmaker, producer, and director from Sandy Bay First Nation in Manitoba. Her recent short film, Ojichog, has been taking off in film festivals across Canada, winning awards.
The Audience Choice Award at Kimberley Film Festival, and then the next one from the Norwegian International Film Festival for Best Horror. So I was like, I'm still waiting for it in the mail, so I'm going to have a trophy.
Bolio says she was surprised with how the audience reacted. She spoke about the happiness she felt seeing people come to watch her film.
I'm really happy with the awards that it's receiving, and people have been connecting with it.
Ojichog is a short film following a woman who seeks comfort in her choice to end her life.
Ojichog is inspired by a true story. Somebody close to me shared their story, and I decided to retell it in a narrative way.
The film follows Mary as she wakes up in a strange world while contemplating suicide and meets an Anishinaabe spirit.
I didn't want to misrepresent the spirit in the story, and I wanted to include the language, and it kind of just still developed from the script to when we shot it to when we edited it. So it kind of changed a little bit, but it had more meaning by the end of the film.
Bolio says her writing process is unconventional.
My writing process is a little crazy. I pick one song that I feel is like a theme or like kind of fits through the whole film, and I played that song on loop just to keep me in this mindset. And I spent a couple nights like writing it and then rewriting it and then kind of seeing like, is this true to the story of what this is?
Bolio says she wants the film to have more distribution and a community run to connect with more people.
Just remember that I'm hoping to do a community run because this topic is suicide, and I want people to watch this and like they might connect to it in a different way than somebody who like maybe has thoughts of suicide, or people who have had family members that have committed suicide.
She hopes to continue to make films that connect deeply with audiences in the future.
I always tell everybody, like, I want to make films that make people cry. And not just because they're gonna be sad, but it's just like there's a connection that creates that little lump in their throat, and like they'll like, you know, if there's a big emotion, they'll remember something. You know, just connecting with people and making them think more about their lives and do more, and yeah, just reconnect and talk.
Bolio says that she enjoys directing the most and wants to continue to grow in the film industry.
In the beginning, I was like kind of wanting to stay with one route, but now that I have a bigger connection, I see there's so many more opportunities and different styles that I would like to learn.
Bolio is also an advisor and board member for the Winnipeg Indigenous Filmmakers Collective, taking part in their monthly general meetings and more.
If you're interested in film, come down to the Winnipeg Indigenous Filmmakers Collective. If you're not sure what you like, or if you know what you like, you can come and share some skills, or come and learn something, make friends. Like, we're here to make space for you, and we'll just keep building each other up.
She continues to make space for other Indigenous filmmakers and hopes Ojichog will be available on streaming platforms in the future. For APTN National News, I am Maya Coutu in Winnipeg.
Right on, Rachel. Thanks for that, Maya. Tensions peaked in Quebec this week with the proposed Bill 97 on forestry. Nouvelle Nationale host Kim Sullivan joins us now with what to expect in tonight's broadcast, and I'm sure you'll be tackling that topic, Kim.
Hi, Dennis. Absolutely. We sent our cameraman into the thick of it, 7 hours north of Montreal in Wemotashi. The government's also finally sat with the chiefs, and one thing is for sure, everyone agrees that there needs to be change to this proposed bill. So we have that on tonight's show. We also share some beautiful reports out of New Brunswick and Manitoba. So you'll have to watch right here, 6:30 Eastern for Nouvelle Nationale.
Which is just a few short minutes from now. Thanks, Kim. It's all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Friday. You can catch up on some of the week's biggest news by tuning into APTN National News Weekend tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And never miss a story by visiting our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy Miigwech, thanks for being with us. Stay tuned. Kim's up next. Have a great night.